All right, this is another sharesigmachi podcast, and we're back here again with Ryan Wakefield. The last time we talked to Ryan, he was days away from leaving for Horizons, and he was going to go there for facilitator training. And so we decided to bring him back on and let him talk about how great Horizons was, and maybe he can convince some of you guys to go and try to be facilitators. So I guess Ryan, thanks for coming back on here.
Hey, thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
That's no problem. Um, so yeah, I guess kind of let's start with 2 weeks ago you were about to be leaving for Horizons, and what you left on a was it a Friday or a Saturday?
I left on a Friday morning, kind of mid-morning Friday.
Cool. And when you left out, what was Friday kind of like a travel day where everybody you didn't really have much going on, just kind of getting there, getting set up?
Very much so. Everyone kind of traveled in different schedules because they came in from all over the country. From as far away as New York, New Jersey area. As close away as myself in Montana and people from California. So it took everyone a little different time to get there. Friday we arrived and didn't take us very long for everyone to find each other. Even though we didn't know each other going into it, but because of roommates and technologies and Twitter and things like that, we met up pretty quick. And then the only thing we really had that night, we all had dinner together, and we're kind of turned back on our own to get ready to get started on Saturday. So kind of a little banquet to start the night off with, or the week off with. It was a great time.
Yeah. Well, I noticed on Twitter that there was just a couple of posts where people would take a picture, of the mountains and stuff, and then post it. So I'm guessing the fraternity kind of had y'all locked down a little bit on the cell phones, or just were you just that active with stuff going on that you didn't have time for Twitter?
For us, I don't know if the undergrad experience is different. I think it's probably a pretty hard thing in these days to really, make people, put down their devices. We really didn't have a rule. It was, kind of a self-imposed digital cleanse where you try to, not interact with the outside world as much as possible. We'd call our families, and everyone having left jobs would check in with work, on and off, or as much or as little as they needed to. Uh, but it was really, you were kind of so busy, and I didn't really want to take away from my own experience by, really trying to pay attention to what was going on in the outside world too much more than I had to.
Right.
So I'm a tad of a Twitterholic, so it was kind of nice to keep away from it for a little while.
Well, so when you went, like we said before, you were going to for facilitator training. I guess can you kind of talk about maybe how they went about the facilitator training on getting you ready?
Yeah, for sure. It was just facilitator training. So there was a group of 15 of us that were all, in the same boat. Some of us had gone through Horizons as undergrads, and others, like myself, had not. So we were really split down the middle for people that knew what was coming and others that didn't. And as much as possible, they really tried to keep our experience as like the undergrads will have, with the exception of some things were on a tighter time frame. And they would, and then we'd also have moments where we would break out and just kind of take a little freeze frame and say, if you were at the undergrads, here's some other things you might discuss or some things that might come up, versus just, power it all the way through without stopping and have those teachable moments. But it was, much more condensed version than the undergrads get as they go through. But I definitely didn't leave lacking or feeling like I missed out on anything that they were going to get, only just to know that, you get that much more when I get to go back and facilitate.
Right. So with the training, you said you kind of went through the same thing of what the undergrads were going to do. Did they kind of give you some hard details on, okay, this is what you need to talk about for this section, or was it one of those things where they kind of left it up to you to say, you know, here's what you're feeling during this time. Here's the questions that you might have. Here's what you might talk about. So I guess was it more? Did they give you kind of a detailed talk about what you should be talking with undergrads about, or was it kind of an open-ended like?
I was amazed at how thorough the curriculum was as far as just so well thought out and put together and organized. And a lot of times it's hard to want to stick to the curriculum without really stepping off and doing your own sidebar. And the way this is designed is, it will be very easy to stick with, kind of the speaking points and just the information that they want presented to the undergrads. It's very important for Horizons to flow, I think, for you to stick to, what, kind of what is not necessarily on the script, because every conversation that's going to come up is going to be completely different from whatever's happening in the next room. But just to try to keep, within the realm of really what's being created throughout the week. So, I mean, I think there's room for improvisation, but for the most part, you're really, you have an amazing manual of resources to just, kind of go through, and you just, everything's broken down day by day. Kind of, here's day one, and here's what we're covering day two, and so on and so forth.
Cool. And so you have plans. Obviously you have to go back twice. That's kind of part of the thing, is you get your training and then you dedicate yourself for at least 2 sessions in the future. When do you see yourself being able to go back and actually become a facilitator?
Ideally I want to go back, early next summer. I would love to go back, just as soon as possible, to just put into practice everything that we had a chance to learn. And then just based off of what my work allows for me to do, it'll probably be session 1 or session 2 of next year that I will head back to Snowbird for my first actual session with undergrads.
Well, I can tell you're pretty excited about it, and that it was a pretty good experience for you. For guys out there that maybe have never thought about being a facilitator, or maybe they have and just think they don't have the time, what would you tell them about why they should try to become a facilitator at Horizons?
I think everyone has different Sigma Chi experiences as actives and alumni. For Horizons specifically, I mean, I went in on Friday and I didn't know, or I didn't think that I knew, more than 1 or 2 people that were going to be there with me. And it was one of those things that, you're connected, you're Sigma Chi's, and you bond faster because of, just the common bonds that we all share. I honestly think I left that week, with, not only a better knowledge of myself and just the fire to continue to give back to Sigma Chi, but I left with friends that are closer than friends I've had for years, and people I've only known for a week, but because of, just everything we went through together, at Snowbird, at Horizons, the bonds I made were just absolutely amazing. And the gift I received, to be able to go back and then just share that with undergrads, there's not really a lot that can describe that, just that opportunity that we've been given, and take it as an alum or an undergrad that's thinking about applying for Horizons. It will be, one of the most amazing things you will ever do for yourself, hands down.
Cool. Well, I hope there's some people out there that listen to this, and it motivates them to go ahead and apply and to become a facilitator. Man, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and talking about Horizons. It kind of lights a little fire into me about doing Sigma Chi stuff. I guess is there anything you want to let everybody know? I think last time we talked about, they can get a hold of you on Twitter if they need to. Anything else you want to?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, twitter.com/Ryan_Wakefield. I'll also throw out my website, because that was kind of one of the things I took away from Horizons, was to challenge myself to continue to develop that and share that with people. And that's sobeyeg.com, which is SOBEYEG.com. And I think, by just continuing to put that out there makes me continue to develop that. And that was, again, one of the goals I left with from the week, was to keep spreading the just the happiness and the good word, via that medium. So.
All right, man. Well, thanks again for coming on, and I'm sure we might do this again sometime here in the near future.
I would love it. Let's find a new topic and keep it going. This is great.
All right, man. We'll do it. See ya.
See you later. Thanks.